All right, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Good day. Of course, this is X-22 Report, and we'll make some comments about uh, Julian Assange and his soon release, or should we say his expedition to the United States, and what he's going to testify of, and when he will be released, and so forth. Um, all this will come out. It's just a matter of time and when. And hopefully we have the right people around him to protect him so he is not bumped out. Because believe me, the Democratic Party and the deep state want him gone. And they've wanted him gone for quite a while, since he made some major dumps and claims on emails. Now, he's put his life on the line to get that stuff out. Yet he so firmly believed in it that he did it. A great hero worldwide.
Now, the deep state, they're floundering. They don't know what to do next. Trump, the Patriots, they're countering them at every turn. They're in trouble. And they're going to be in more trouble as time goes on. Today, we saw a sighting of Julian Assange. He looks pretty darn good. He looks like he's going to court. Remember, he is protected. He is the key to the DNC hack. He is the key to Seth Rich. We also have A1. A1s are back in the news. Q let us know that that entire investigation wasn't over. And then we have General Flynn. His sentencing date is coming up on January 28th. And Q, for the longest time, has said that General Flynn will go free in 30 days, exactly 30. And last time we calculated about when the Declass was going to come out, how it was going to affect General Flynn. But one thing we didn't look at is that for Flynn to go free, he has to be in jail first. And now when we look at it and we take those watches, and Q told us it's worth remembering, and we look at the dates, the 19th and the 27th, they start to make sense. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about Senator Cory Booker. He announced that he is dropping out of the Democratic presidential race. There's another person who's no longer going to push to become president, get rid of our firearms, and reverse everything. All these individuals, they talk a lot, but no one's paying attention. I think he has bigger problems. Remember the whole thing with Jussie Smollett? Remember the lynching bill that Cory Booker and Kamala Harris put forth? Well, that was all wrapped up together. And there is a federal investigation going on by the FBI, and there's a special prosecutor, investigator, that is looking into Jussie Smollett. Most likely, it is going to lead back to these two individuals. And I think he needs to figure out his story now that he's not running for the presidency any longer. And Trump tweeted out the following. Really big breaking news, kidding. Booker, who is in zero polling territory, just dropped out of the Democratic presidential primary race. Now I can rest easy tonight. I was so concerned that I would someday have to go head-to-head with him. Now with Cory Booker out of the race, we have Kamala Harris out of the race and many others out of the race. It only leaves a few others. And there's going to be many others that will be dropping out because the only people that are even close right now are Biden, Warren, and Sanders. That is it. And out of these three, they cannot go up against Trump.
Okay, so Biden, Warren, and Sanders. Interesting. And all three are worthless as all get out. Can't draw a crowd. Can't get any momentum going. What a joke.
Now, once again, the Dems, they do not have a candidate. Biden is already out there saying that Russia is going to interfere with the election, and that's why he's going to lose. They're already making excuses to explain away why Biden didn't make it. But when you look at Biden, he can't even fill up a living room. Look what Trump fills up. He fills up stadiums. There's no way that he's even close to Trump. And Warren, she lied that she was an American Indian. She lied on her application to law school. She lied. Sanders, well, he just had a heart attack. And it doesn't look like he's up to the job. And when you really look at his entire campaign, this is not good for America. So right now, it seems that Trump...
So you attended the training.
...him. And I believe this is why Clinton, and I still believe Michelle Obama, they've been waiting in the wings. They're hoping that the fake impeachment, it was going to hurt him. And hurt him enough where they can enter the arena. Now, remember, the Washington Post, the mainstream media, they came out saying that Huber found nothing, which to everyone who is sleeping thinks that she is exonerated. Most likely that came out to allow her to enter the race, to say she has no baggage. But we know that Huber, he wasn't the only individual investigating Hillary Clinton. There's another prosecutor with the same exact mandate. It could be Durham. It could be someone completely different. And they push this story forward to help Clinton right now. Now, very interestingly, we know there's a huge problem with the FISA court. And we know once the Declass is released, because we already had the Comey report, the IG FISA report, showing that they obtained these FISA warrants illegally, and the FISA court kind of knew about it, didn't really do anything.
It remains yet to be seen what Hillary Clinton is going to do, what Michelle Obama is going to do in this presidential election. But let's suppose that one of them comes in. Michelle Obama, she's not going to stand up. She's very popular in some areas, but she just has no political savvy. And I don't think she can stand a light to Trump. And for sure, Hillary Clinton is washed up and she's going to lose again if she runs. I think the Dems don't know what the heck they're going to do. They lack leadership, they lack vision, they lack a candidate that has anything really going for them. Again, there's so many people on the behind scenes. What is Admiral Rogers doing? What does he know? What is going to come out with what he knows? What is Durham going to bring out? I mean, and other prosecutors we don't even know about that have been assigned different tasks. We already know that Obama and Hillary Clinton did Benghazi for weapons and killed the ambassador Stevens because he was in the way of their plans and called the military off and let the terrorists kill those guys. Now there's so much going on. We have no clue how this is going to officially end. Other people may have a clue, but the general public is clueless.
They're watching him very closely. They're going to expose the entire system. Remember, Admiral Rogers is working with Durham because he looked into the FISA abuses. Now they're watching this individual, and they're watching the cover-up. Think about what this is all about. This is not just about arresting. This is about exposing how these people actually do this stuff. And they're exposing it to the American people. Now, a while back, we know there were stories about the A1s, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and all of a sudden that kind of disappeared and there were lesser charges brought against the A1s. Q came online and said, hey, don't worry, this is still ongoing. And Judicial Watch right now announced that a federal court ordered a hearing on December 13, 2019, on the Congressional Democratic IT scandal involving the Awan brothers. The hearing was ordered in accordance with the November 2018 Freedom of Information Act lawsuit, which was filed after the Federal Bureau of Investigations failed to respond adequately to two separate Freedom of Information Act requests. Now, all records related to any investigations or preliminary investigations involving former congressional IT support staffers Abid Awan, Imran Awan, Jamal Awan, and Hina R. Alvi. Now, as part of this request, searches of records should include, but not be limited to, the FBI automated indices, its older manual indices, and its electronic surveillance data management system, as well as cross-reference files. Now, the time frame for the request records is May 2015 to the present. Judicial Watch's second request, submitted on July 3, 2018, sought all records related to any investigations or preliminary investigations involving former congressional IT support staffers Abid Awan, Imran Awan, Jamal Awan, Hina R. Alvi, and Rayo Abbas. And it looks like Judicial Watch is getting this information, and I wanted to go back.
Now, he says they're getting this information, but I'm not so sure. They have drug their feet that both the judicial system, the FBI system, and other legal entities have drugged their heels and fought Judicial Watch every step of the way. So the swamp is deep and wide. Justice is slow in coming, and quick in coming when they want to do dirty work, slow in coming when there's real justice to be handed and metered out. All right, a little more on Q here.
December 2019, December 16th to be exact, gives us post 3532, and it says the swamp runs deep. And in this, it says, and this is in brackets, A1, all caps, DWS, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, again, brackets bold, D, Congress, House of Cards. You didn't think the plea deal was the end, did you? Then let's move on to post.
Where is this going to go with Q? Or where does he think it's going to go?
And Anon gives us this. The Department of Justice said that this month it could not release records on Democrat technology aide Imran Awan due to technical difficulties, but later admitted in court documents that it could not release records on him because there is a secret ongoing case related to the matter. Secret ongoing case related to the matter. Secret ongoing case related to the matter, which means they're being investigated. And we have Judicial Watch trying to get some of these records. Now, very interestingly, today, Julian Assange, he attended a hearing at Westminster Magistrates Court, and there are pictures of Julian Assange. He's giving the peace sign. He looks pretty darn good. And we know that in February, the extradition trial is going to happen. And this is where they're going to try to get Assange back to the United States. Q has told us that Assange is key. He is the source. He is protected. And all this information coming out that he's sick, he can barely make it in prison, he's being tortured. Do you think this is being put out there for a specific reason? Maybe to help bring back Assange here to the United States? It could be. But once again, he is protected by the Patriots. They're going to use him in the case with the DNC hack, the case with Seth Rich's murder, and he is the key. Q has been mentioning this over and over and over.
We can hopefully hope that he really is protected now. I don't know what's going on in London in the prison system and whatnot, but in the United States, you can bet we've seen top people bumped off One prime example is here with Epstein. Epstein was hung. Lights were turned off, cameras were turned off, and he was hung and killed, probably with a wire, with a sheet around it. Some say there's footage of that incident, but he didn't hang himself. He was bumped off. He knew too many top people and what they're doing. But again, much of this we hope will come out sooner the better.
Now, in regards to Iran, we understand that back channels are very important, and it seems that the U.S. might have sent an encrypted fax or something to the Swiss embassy in Tehran, urging Iran not to escalate, and using back channels to talk to certain players in Iran. Remember, there's good guys and bad guys in all these countries. We have the deep state going up against patriots in the country, just like here in the United States, just like the UK and many other countries. And there is an internal war going on now in Iran. You see the protests. You see what's happening.
Now, again, and Alex Jones reminded us, which way is this eternal divisions and protests and political structure going to go? Are they going to replace the regime that's in there with a better group of individuals or worse? All this will play out in time. We'll see.
And it's becoming more and more difficult. Now, the Dems, since they didn't get their war and the plane being shot down out of the sky didn't work, they're kind of staying pretty darn quiet about all the protests. They haven't really mentioned anything. They're really not coming out saying, yes, we're with the protesters. Freedom, democracy. If you notice, they're just staying silent. Why? Because they don't want this to happen. They don't want the protection removed. If the protection is removed, they're in trouble. Trump tweeted out the following: the fake news media and their Democrat partners are working hard to determine whether or not the future attack by terrorist Soleimani was imminent or not. And was my team in agreement? The answer to both is a strong yes, and yes is in all caps. But it doesn't really matter because of his horrible past. Now, the mainstream media, they're trying to say that the people working with Trump, they weren't in agreement. They didn't see the classified information. He planned this months before, or this was the only plan when they were coming up with it just weeks before he did it. And they keep changing the story. Why does the fake news continually change their stories? Why do they keep using anonymous sources? Because there are no leaks. They're in the dark. Remember, Trump has a certain small group.
Now, it's true that the leaks are not like they were with Obama, but there are still people in the swamp, both around Trump and underneath him, that would love to leak out information, but he is more tightly guarded what is coming out. And so that's good. We don't know what's going on with Durham. We don't really know what's going on with Huber. Some of the report that was given was not complete by several people's accounts or estimates. There's more to Durham for sure. There's more to Barr for sure. And even Huber's report may not have been the full story. Again, this security has to be tight. The groups that they trust have to be tested. And but we occasionally see a leak come out or a partial leak come out and a false story with it. So everything's not as totally tight as we'd like to see it, but it's a lot better than it has been in the past.
Around him that he works with. Everyone else he does not trust. Most of them are the swamp. They have.
Well, Why should he? They are the swamp. Let's go on here.
The Democrats and the fake news are trying to make terrorist Soleimani into a wonderful guy, only because I did what should have been done for 20 years. Anything I do, whether it's the economy, military, or anything else, will be scorned by the radical left. Do nothing Democrats.
And they are do-nothing Democrats. All right, so this is interesting. This guy was busted for being part of the security team that he wasn't, and to get near the president. To do what? To bump him off? To get information? Cause havoc? Who knows? Not good.
Serious offenses. Was busted last week for posing as a member of Trump's security team to get near Marine One, the president's helicopter. This is 37-year-old Brandon M. Magnan of Naples, Florida, a registered sex offender. He was driving a Honda Pilot with an unidentified male passenger around 3 p.m. on January 5th when he bluffed his way through 2 security checkpoints using falsified credentials bearing the seals of the Marines and the Marine Corps Executive Flight Detachment. Now, Magnan was attempting to breach protective zones established around the Atlantic Aviation, which provides hangar space, jet fuel, and flight support services ahead of Trump's planned departure from Palm Beach to Washington. Now, it's not clear what this individual is trying to do, but it seems like he was trying to do harm to Trump. Maybe they were trying to crash the helicopter, remove Trump. Remember, the deep state, they are desperate right now. Everything that they tried has failed, and I believe.
So we still need to pray for Trump and pray for the White House and those that are around him, protecting him, supporting him. Security is so important. Let's move on. All right, with Q and his watches, what's coming on the 27th?
Then Q gave us marker 1, marker 2. The 19th is marker 1, and then the 27th is marker 2. And we know that Flynn is going to be sentenced on January 28th. And people were completely shocked. And Q came out with the post 3693, where it says, and this was December 16, 2019, where it says, same evidence to free Flynn currently being used to indict others, grand jury. So Q gave us a hint that the information that is needed to free Flynn is being used. So let's think about this for a sec here. We have General Flynn being sentenced on the 28th. Q told us that the information that is needed to free him is being used. Now, to free him, he needs to be in jail, right? Because he's going to be in jail and he'll be free in 30 days, exactly 30. So if he's being sentenced on the 28th, let's say the 29th is when he has his first day in jail. And if we count down from the 29th, his 30th day is the 27th of February. Isn't that the second watch? Now, let's think about this for a second. So for Flynn to go free, this information would have to be declassed, right? And we've noticed a pattern with Q lately that if you go back, in time, like a year to the date, you look at one of the posts and it tells you the information. Well, if we go back to February 19th, 2019, what did Q post that day? Why did I pick the 19th, first of all? Because the first watch says the 19th. So I went back to February 19th, which is post 2819, and it has the statement from the press secretary that allows for the declass. So let's put all this together. We have 2 watches, one with the date, the 19th, the one with the 27th. Flynn is going to be sentenced on the 28th of January. We have the first watch, which is the 19th. That is, if you go back 1 year to that date, February 19, 2019, Trump put out the statement to the press secretary saying we should declass. Then we have the second watch, which is the second marker, which is on the 27th. And if you count from January 29th to the 27th, that's 30 days exactly, he would be free from prison. Now, again, I'm interpreting what Q has given us. And it seems like it fits perfectly. Now, am I saying it's going to happen this way? No, what I'm doing is I'm taking all the pieces and putting them together. Yes, I did this before, but I didn't realize that Flynn was going to be set free. To be set free, he has to be in jail or prison. So now he's actually going to be sentenced. And actually, what did the Department of Justice, Van Grack, what did he do? He wants prison time, 0 to 6 months. So again, if you start to put all this together, it fits. Now, again, this is an interpretation, but it seems like we're at that point where it's time to set Flynn free. It's time to declass. And I think that day is approaching very, very quickly. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be